My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC picks and DraftKings lineups run by professional fighters and MMA insiders. Every week, I join Nick Newell, professional fighter, professional model, and ESPN Top 10 guest, along with Dan Kramer, UFC fighter, Bellator fighter, Ultimate Fighter alumni, and Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. And we break down every single fight, the betting odds, the DraftKings picks, and we set you up for success. This week, we're breaking down the Blaydes versus Lewis fight night. Next up at UFC Fight Night, Blaydes versus Lewis, we have Philip Hawes versus Nassourdine Imavov. This is a rebooked fight. They were supposed to fight, I think it was a month ago, 2 months ago, and Philip Hawes pulled out. We don't know why. It wasn't a COVID issue. The fight dropped. Something happened with Philip. There was an injury or something to that effect. And they didn't say what it was, so I don't know what it is. Either way, this fight has been rebooked. I believe these odds are closer than they were for the original matchup, and I disagree. I think Philip should win. Never know in these type of. He's a wrestler with a ton of power, and sometimes that works against you, where you love your hands all of a sudden, like what's happened to Tyron Woodley the last few years. But we'll see what happens. But before I do my official pick here, I'm going to go to you, Nick. Nick, do you think the national champion wrestler in Philip Hawes gets this done, or are you going with Imavov?
Yeah, I think that Hawes gets it done. I think that he hits like a truck. He's been knocking everyone out. He's had kind of a turn the corner with his skill, and he can wrestle at such a high level. I'm favoring him to win. If you look at Imavov, his last fight, he kind of dragged his opponent through the mud and really gave him a tough fight and was kind of all over him. I just don't think he'll be able to do that with Hawes. I don't have him in my lineup. I am picking him to win. If I maneuver some things, I might put him in my lineup. I don't think he's a bad person to have in your lineup.
Yeah, so I do have Philip Hawes in my lineup. I think $8,200 is a nice price point for somebody that I think I'm going to score a ton of points either way. I think he's either going to knock this dude out, ton of points, or go back to his wrestling base and just take him down, score those 5 takedown points, and then either get all of the ride time points, the control points, or he'll get up and he'll take him down again. So I think the odds are wrong, because I think Philip Hawes should be a bigger favorite as he was a few months ago. Maybe the question mark here is the injury. We don't know what the issue was. I don't think anybody does. But I'm going with Philip Hawes. I do have a 3 degrees of separation personal connection here. My buddy's related to him, and he's only said amazing things about him and his work ethic and his training as of recent. So I'm going Philip Hawes here. But Jacob, you shook your head again. You're very animated in your reactions. What are your thoughts here? Going with Imavov?
No, so I'm kind of upset now, because now me and your picks are starting to align, and I don't think that's good for either one of us, because I have Phil Hawes in my lineup. He is the real deal. This guy is tough. Even in his Contender Series loss, he was dominating that fight. The funny thing about Imavov is originally I thought he was Russian, because the French flag and the Russian flag, very similar, very similar. So I thought he was Russian. I knew Philip Hawes was going to be a wrestler. I thought this was going to be an incredible fight. Wrestler, the Russian, the American. And then I found out he was French, and so things got changed a little bit. He is 6'3". He's got some range. I think he's very good when he can control the pace. I think he needs to get Philip Hawes respect early if he's going to have a chance in this fight. But other than that, I think Philip Hawes just comes out aggressive. If he's a wrestler, so if you don't, you got to go for those wrestlers when you get the opportunity in DraftKings, because those 5 points will add up and add up. And I think being the bigger guy, 6'3", I think he might be able to get up from those takedowns, which just means more points for Philip Hawes in DraftKings. So if he doesn't get the respect early, I think Philip Hawes runs through them, and Philip Hawes wins the fight, and I have him in my lineup.
Yeah, I just hope he continues the streak. I mean, the concern sometimes is those wrestlers that find success with striking fall in love with it and lean on it too much, and then it goes the wrong direction at some point. But Dan, I'll let you give your pick here and what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so I think right now I'm going to put Hawes in my lineup for $8,200. I think he's worth it. I think he's got the upside of, definitely a first round finish.
I feel better now.
He's got, I'm looking at his record. It's one of those things where he's got so many first and second round finishes. I almost wish I got to see more of him in the third round, because I think this is a tough fight. And Imavov could take him into deep waters. But to your point, if Hawes has the wrestling and the cardio to, let's say, things get a little scrappy in the second and third round, if he's got the muscle memory and the cardio to rely on that wrestling in those later rounds, I think he'll start off strong. And then even if it gets a little ugly, he can win decision. But I think there's a lot of upside for him for a first round finish. So I'm going to put Hawes in for the $8,200. And I think he'll win the fight. And if not, it'll be a very close fight and hopefully a lot of points.
Well, and especially if we're talking DraftKings, it's a $200 difference. And there's way more than $200 in DraftKings difference in their athletic ability, in their credentials, in their training. There's a big gap as far as who they are as fighters, but DraftKings, it's a very narrow gap. So I don't see why anybody would put Imavov in their DraftKings lineup. I just think the price is too close and there's not much upside there. So we're all going Hawes here. Most of us have him in our lineups, and we'll see how that plays out. I'm hoping, I'm hoping for an early finish. We mentioned it in the last fight, but I'm hoping for it here too.
I will say my only concern is for Imavov. If it does get into that second, third round, again, not having seen Hawes in those rounds, I think the only chance for Imavov to win is to take over in those later rounds. So
Dan, you nailed that cardio pick one time, and now every single fight you're saying, I'm worried about cardio.
I know nothing about Hawes cardio, but listen, take a look at people's body types. When you are that muscular and that explosive and that athletic,
you're not going to get your own video every week. It
doesn't translate to later rounds.
I agree, but you're not going to get your own video every week by saying it for every single fight.
I got Hawes. One guy gasses out. So you can play whatever video you want, but I got Hawes in my lineup, so I didn't avoid the pick like I did. Tried to tell you guys all to do last week.
Oh, here we go. Next fight.
How'd that work out for you, Jacob?
Next fight.
Before you go, check out the description below. In there, we have links to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, and more importantly, to our DraftKings League. Check out the league, join the league, participate in the contests, and as we get going and as you start winning, we're going to start handing out gift cards and participating and doing things like that. So check those out. Every week, there are drops on every fight card. So make sure you check out this channel and our social media on Saturday before the fights start so that you have our most updated lineups and picks.